on this program do not necessarily reflect or represent those of the owners, management, or advertisers of Pacific Telestations Inc. This message has been brought to you by the stations of KUAM.
You're watching Buzz with Jess Lujan.
Good evening, Guam. I'm Jess Lujan. Welcome to this edition of The Buzz in celebration of Miss Chamorro. This week, as well as next week, we'll be featuring folks from the University of Guam in regards to Chamorro studies up there. And tonight, I'm honored to have, of course, my relative, I guess, Dr. Mike Bevacqua. Buenas, how are you doing, Malaga?
Hey, buenas, hongan.
Yeah.
Maulik na un kumbida zu tate.
Oh, Zeus masih ni finatumo pago na poing, you know?
Lo ana watan mai sa jugi camera. Kada un interview zu mas dongklo
Oh,
na ibat
bas bang? Oh, okay. That's sa nga ni si Dr. Underwood pa ni na-erase. But masubi zo no razor blade. Anyway, Doc, all kidding aside, we are celebrating, of course, Miss Chamorro. This whole month is in celebration of Chamorro. But yeah, let's look at the Triton's point of view, the University of Guam point of view. That you are a teacher, you're a professor of Chamorro studies at the University of Guam. Tell us what encompasses Chamorro studies, because it is a major. It is at the university. Tell us what encompasses Chamorro studies.
Oh, it is, I was an undergrad and a graduate student at UOG, and getting a Chamorro studies major was always like a dream for me when I was there as a student. And so I've been so honored to help create it as a bachelor's degree, a major. And so we really have to thank Peter Onadera, Evelyn Flores, and Ann Hattori, who started a Chamorro studies minor several years ago. And then about 3 years ago, what we did is we built on that minor to create a full-fledged major program. And so the faculty that we have in the program now are myself, Ann Perez Hattori, Evelyn San Miguel Flores, Rosa Salas Palomo, Charlene Santos Bamba, and James Perez Viernes. And so that's kind of the group that we have now. And this degree is unique in the world. There's no other place in the world where you can go and sign up for a 4-year degree where all you're going to do is study Chamorro, Chamorro language, Chamorro culture, Chamorro history. And so, we really felt that the University of Guam, being the highest educational institution in this part of the world, and that so many Chamorros have gone through UOG. We find so many documents related to Chamorro history at UOG, that UOG was really the place that needed to have a degree like this. And so we've only been around for a couple years, this degree program. In the past, there was you could go to School of Education at UOG and get an emphasis in Chamorro language and Chamorro studies. But now this is a degree where you can focus, depending on the classes you take, the core of it is Chamorro language, but you can focus it on literature or biology or social work or history, because the core is language and then culture, but then how you want to focus on studying Chamorro heritage is up to you.
Now, when you're talking about Chamorro language, does that encompass both the verbal language, and the written language? So that is together.
Oh yeah, so if you're going to be a Chamorro studies major, you have to take elementary Chamorro, intermediate Chamorro, and then what we created recently is advanced Chamorro, CM 301 and 302. And so when you get to the advanced Chamorro, that's where you're really focusing on the writing and the reading. And that's where you've got students, they have to write essays in Chamorro, research papers in Chamorro, and they're reading interesting documents too, not just contemporary Chamorro, but also historical Chamorro. So in 301 and 302, which is taught by Rosa Palomo, they read stuff which Chamorros wrote in like the 1800s. And stuff they wrote like 100 years ago, looking at sort of how Chamorro has changed over time.
Has evolved. So what again is the accepted, I guess, teaching, I guess, the methodology over there? I mean, because we have the RRO and the RU. Is there a difference between that and what is taught? Because what I'm hearing when I'm saying, can you explain the two? And some will tell me, well, if you're writing in English and you're referring to something Chamorro, and you're writing in English, then you spell the RRO. If you're writing in Chamorro and you're referring to Chamorro, writing in Chamorro, then that's when you put the RU. But and this is new to me now, as with other things that I'm learning. But is there a different teaching behind either one of the spellings?
It's that debate it's received a lot of attention,
Sure.
and in fact a lot of people use that as a reason why we should just abandon learning Chamorro, because we can't spell it right. We can't figure out how to spell the word Chamorro. But so a lot of that boils down to tradition versus sort of, I guess you could say, self-determination.
Sure.
So the spelling ORRO is the historical spelling. It is the one which appears in documents during the American and the Spanish period. It is the one which the church used for a very long time. And so people, it's just like how if you, people don't want the names of their villages changed to reflect sort of the way they're pronounced. Some people really like saying Maritzo, not Malesso. In Arahan, not in Alahan. Umatic, not Humatak. And so, so those who like the RRO, it's really because it's been around so long, so why change it? The ORU really comes from the idea that, of course, the word is not supposed to be pronounced Chamorro. It's supposed to be, it's really an ORU at the end.
Chamorro.
Yeah, Chamorro. And so this came out when they were trying to create an orthography, like a spelling system for the Chamorro language. And it was basically like, if we're going to create a way of writing in Chamorro, we should change the way this word is spelled, because if not, basically future generations are going to think we're Chamorro and not Chamorro. And so, but you had clashes in the past, very heated debates between sort of educators, public officials.
But here's the thing as well, because you have some folks also that say we don't want anything to do with either RU or RRO, because that has got a Hispanic origin, it's got a Spanish origin. And they often they said, well, really Chamorro is something that was given to the folks here based on how they were built. And basically, it basically says that this is, basically Chamorro is a hind leg of a cow, basically. I guess it's the shank part, the cut on shank, right? That's why, I guess maybe that's why we like shank so much. But there are folks out there that say that. And so how do you, because that's a thought as well. So how do you, well, if we're not Chamorro or Chamorro, then what are we?
Oh yeah, it's very exciting as a scholar to see people like getting into these issues, because for a long time Chamorros didn't really care about these things.
Sure.
But now we're beginning to sort of really like, being more interested in like our peoplehood, our identity as an indigenous nation and stuff like that. And so the origin of Chamorro, it's a big thing too, because a lot of people just assume, yeah, the Spanish gave us that name because it exists in the Spanish language. But there's actually lots of different theories as to where that comes from. And in fact, one of the earliest references says that when the Spanish would arrive in ships, the Chamorros would yell the word Chamorro out at the Spanish. And so that led, like for example, Larry Cunningham, who wrote Ancient Chamorro Society, it led him to basically theorize that actually the Spanish misheard that, and the Chamorros were actually yelling something else, but then wrote it down as if Chamorros were yelling out their ethnicity at everybody who visited the island.
Yeah.
And so it's there's so many interesting theories about where that comes from, but there's some people who say, yeah, forget it all, call ourselves Tautau Hadza. And then some people say we're Guamanians. That's the real name for what we are.
Yeah.
And so, but as a scholar, it's just exciting to see people care about these issues, because we're really getting more aware of our identity, and that we should have a role in determining our identity.
Okay. I tell you what, we got to pay some bills right now. Take a quick break, and then we'll be right back. Be right back.
This program is brought to you by GTA, your island, your network.